a continuation of why you shouldn't join the British Army. I've made videos about my time in Northern Ireland with B Company 2 Para as a combat medic. Even on the day of internment, which saw the bloodiest battle that I was in at that time. On my next tour, I was attached to Support Company 2 Para in the New Lodge area, stationed behind the Crumlin Road prison and a large barrack complex there. The first day, a sniper took out a sergeant who was driving around the area in an open Land Rover. Open Land Rover? Well, the trouble was armoured vehicles cost too much to run, so it was cheaper to put her in open Land Rovers and let us be the duck in the fair and the IRA shoot at us. Didn't give a damn about soldiers. Officer Corps, this is the officers. So the sergeant was the first to be shot. Corporal Cooper was the next one. There's two flats at the bottom of New Lodge Road, and this is where the snipe was operated from. They could shoot down on you as you were patrolling. Cooper was head of a patrol. The bullet had come down, it hit the metal round the windscreen. So it then penetrated his flak jacket, but didn't stop nothing, and entered his chest. I ran up to him as we approached, and Major Burke took control of the two patrols. I took Cooper into an alleyway and started to treat him, give him first aid. I couldn't get to the wound. He's got a big heavy his smock on. He's got his flak jacket on, a jumper, a shirt, a t-shirt. I couldn't get to that wound. And without assistance and without equipment, I couldn't even put a shell dressing on. At that time, a woman come out and she had a bottle of holy water. And she says, "Give this bottle of holy water to the boy, to be sure he'll be okay." So I says, "Thank you, pet, but he needs an operation now and I don't think he can drink." So she gets the holy water and she's throwing the holy water all over him. And me and Bill start laughing. And I said to Bill, "You okay?" He says, "Oh, I think I've been hit with a sledgehammer." But this throwing the holy water started him laughing. And he later was promoted to an officer, and I've seen him on YouTube talking about 2 Para in Northern Ireland. So I don't know if it was the holy water that did it, but he became an officer. So he was my second casualty. Driving around in these open Land Rovers, there's one day I'd gone out with Burke and come back in, and there was a bullet hole all the way through near where I'd been sitting and out the other side of that Land Rover. They even had silencers. They were getting good. And it was, you were a duck at the fair. You know, it was incredible. And the sniping got so bad, it was decided to do a company attack on the New Lodge Road. The biggest fuck up you've ever known. Burke never got the street lights turned out. So the company walked down the streets, walked down New Lodge Road, and the IRA snipers started to shoot. The first burst was from a Thompson machine gun, and it took a Sergeant Nielsen, in the wrist. Straight 45 bullet through the wrist. Big hole. His artery was gone, his vein was gone. So I grabbed hold, I laid him down. He ran up to Burke and said, "I've been shot." And Burke thought, "Oh, it's okay." And I ordered an ambulance to come and collect him. But I took control of him. I laid him down. I looked at his arm and the blood spewing out. And I think, "Oh, he's got a hell of an injury here." So I put the shell dressing on, held his arm up above his heart, got him to lie down. I looked around, everybody had gone. Nobody was there. Nobody in the patrol had told me they were going down into the New Lodge Road. So there I am with the wounded Sergeant Nielsen. I was there a good 10 minutes. And then another patrol came down the road and I shouted for them, "Is there an ambulance there? Get me an ambulance, quick." And the ambulance had been given the wrong coordinations by Major Burke. So it was around the next corner. So Captain Ray came up to me in the ambulance and took Sergeant Nielsen away. And I said to the patrol commander, I'll go down into New Lodge with you. And he reported to the SEAL, and the SEAL turned around and said, oh, Corporal Mumford's been noted by his absence. I didn't understand what he was saying, so I jumped in this armoured vehicle that they had, and we went down to the flats. The flats were surrounded. Men, paratroopers, had been shooting out the lamps because they were silhouetted and they were an easy target. And Burke had lost control. The lads decided, I'm not going to die for him. I'm not dying for Burke. But so they started shooting out the streetlights to protect themselves. The gunfire was heavy. Even in the armoured car going down, we took a few rounds hitting the armoured car. So I walked up to Burke. He says, you were noticed by your absence. I'll talk to you later. So they searched the flats and they found one rifle, which had been thrown down the chute, rubber chute, into a bin at the bottom of the flats. And that's all they found on a whole company attack on New Lodge Road, and thousands of rounds fired illegally. Yeah, there's no yellow card saying shoot out the lights, give 3 warnings, shoot the lights out. So he lost control of the company. So he was in Shit Street, and back at camp he had a debriefing, and he was first thing he picked on was me. He says, Corporal Mumford was noticed by his absence. He didn't follow the company patrol. I says, I was treating Sergeant Nielsen with a gunshot wound, sir. He'd given the wrong coordinates. The ambulance didn't come and collect him. I had to stay with him. So he totally ignored me and said, it's going down on your record, army record, that you disappeared under gunfire. He's calling me a coward. And I was going to hit him. And I thought, I better not tell him, I'm going straight to jail, not pass go. So I got ordered out of the debriefing, and I went up to see Captain Ray, the battalion doctor, and I explained what had been said. And he says, oh, Burke's stupid. If you'd left Sergeant Nielsen, he would have died. I says, I know that, you know that, but he doesn't know that. Can you go and talk to him? So he went down and he come back 10 minutes later, and he says, yeah, he's a Burke. So the next day we visited Sergeant Nielsen in the hospital, and there he is in bed with his arm up, massive bandages on it, 2 drips into him, and Major Burke says, oh, I didn't think it was that bad. And I says to this Sergeant, I says, Sergeant, do you remember everything that happened last night? And he says, yeah. I says, can you say to Major Burke accused me of being a coward? Do you think I was a very professional soldier or a coward? He says, Nigel, thank you for saving my life. If it wasn't for you, I would have died. And I turned to Major Burke. I says, I hope you tell the rest of the company what Sergeant Nielsen has said. He never did. And mud sticks, mud sticks. Cliff Richards, as I may say, you get accused of being a paedophile, you're totally innocent, but mud sticks. So this gave me, although I joined 2 Para after that tour of duty, it put in mind of not staying in 2 Para with officers like that. There was another incident where, when I joined 2 Para, we were on a battalion parachute drop, and a corporal had broke his thigh, his femur, and I went over and started to give him treatment. Fractured femur is a very serious injury. You can die with it. And this, another major, he turned around and says, Mumford, you're now a member of 2 Para. You're not a medic anymore. Report to your section. So I says, but I'm treating a wounded soldier, sir. And he says, this guy's called Patton, Major Patton. I mean, see, he was trying to live up to a big name, but he couldn't. He says, I'm warning you 3 times. If I'd say it one more time, you're going to jail. So I had to leave the sergeant, the corporal, and fortunately an ambulance turned up and started to treat him. But I must say, it's against the Geneva Convention to refuse treatment to the enemy. Never mind your fucking own on an exercise. And this is British officers. So one day we were having Airborne Forces Day, and we were ordered to work in the officers' mess, serving on the officers and the gentry and the sirs and everything, generals that had come to the Airborne Forces Day parade, and showing how paratroopers disliked officers. There's one paratrooper, David Manning, he got up on the table and he pissed in the soup. It was like consomme. So he pissed in the soup, everybody spat in it, and we all give it a good stir and served it on the tables. So this is how much paratroopers hated officers. Other units, they had problems as well, big problems. Guards regiments, things like that. I mean, see, to get in a Guards regiment, you had to have money, because the officers' mess bill was as much as your wages. So that kept out the riffraff from joining the Guards regiments. So this is where the class system is in the British Army. These guys, minimum 4 levels, that had been in private school, and that's all they'd managed to get. Daddy was a general, and these were British officers. I think Rommel hit it right in the Second World War. He says, give me British soldiers and German officers, and I'll win this war. And I think Rommel was right then. I'll talk to you a bit more about British officers, even SAS officers that caused the death of soldiers.